Look,
Yeah,
That's gold.
this is better for me than a Gatorade. Okay,
Agreed.
Gatorade's chock full of sugar.
Agreed.
Okay, I'm getting potassium. I'm getting
Brother,
all I need here. A little
same
bit of
team
sodium
here. Same team here.
and caffeine.
It's,
same team. Yeah, Gatorade
it's
having
freaking
like
great.
60 grams of sugar in a bottle is nuts. So
Nuts so.
It's crazy. All right, here we go. And in three, two, one.
There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Oh, what's up, and welcome into episode 161 of the Program Guys
One
podcast.
guy,
My name is Mason
one
Prince, joined
person
you as always by Mark
in
Hall,
the
Matt
history of
Gann,
this program
no Patrick Kurtzberger, Ryan Tyson. This week, today is Thursday, February 6th. Be sure to like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can find us on all of our social media at Program Guys with a Z on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. That's where you can find us. Gentlemen, we are here on a Wednesday night record. Said that weird. Put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. That was odd. But we are here. How we doing, boys?
Boomer! Oh, we are not feeling. I mean, come on, it's the off season. We got some good stuff to get to today. Unfortunately, it's just the Three Musketeers. Unfortunately, RT and Patrick couldn't make it today. We wish them all the best and hopefully to see them on next week's pod. But come on, man, it's the Three Musketeers. It's the OGs. You know, we started this from day one. We're here. Come on now.
The five of us are OGs.
Wouldn't
I don't know why
anyone-
we're
Any combination.
The inner,
would
the inner
actually
circle.
be
The inner
OGs.
circle, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
okay. Gotcha.
okay. Ryan and Patrick. There's no inner circle. I
Outer
don't know. I don't know what
That's
he's
the whole
talking
thing.
about.
They don't know
You
about
guys
it.
are outer circle guys. If you haven't gotten the hint now, it's because we're good at this.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
Busy. I'm busy. Life is just, it's hectic. I just got back from the greatest city in America this past weekend, Las Vegas, and I hit the ground running from there, man. Work has
Love that.
been work, life has been life, and I'm glad I was able to make time to spend some time with the Three Musketeers, the inner circle.
Did you just go, or did you go with people? You don't
Buddy's
have to
bachelor
name
party.
people. Got
Buddy's
it. Got
bachelor
it.
party.
Couldn't
Yes.
remember the exact scenario. But
Yes, it was
Okay.
a great time. It was such we I won't tell a story. Never mind.
That's fine. You can tell us off air.
Yeah, keep it PG, Mark.
Keep it PGs, baby.
That's
we're doing well. So OU hires a linebackers coach.
Bang.
That is Dreiling.
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 Thank you.
Correct.
Nate,
Thank you.
right? Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Nate. Nate Dreiling. Wes Goodwin, assistant linebackers coach and outside linebackers coach. So two new members of the defensive staff. Dreiling was at Utah State and then
And
went
then at
to
Arkansas.
State for like a month.
Right.
And then now he's at Oklahoma.
Mhm.
That's exciting. That's good
His
news
story's-
for Oklahoma.
His story is interesting because he was hired as the DC at Utah State and then became the interim coach like 3 weeks before the season, like something or 3 weeks before camp, something crazy like that for Utah State. They don't retain him. He gets hired on as DC at Arkansas State and is taking what on paper linebackers coaches beneath DC, but in reality that's a huge pickup for a guy who was going to be coaching at a D2 level just, a week ago.
Yeah.
And same time, I think he's going to bring a lot of perspective that your regular normal linebackers coach isn't going to have because he's called defenses and he's looked at it as a head coach in the last year. So, he might not ever be a head coach again, but I think that he's going to bring a new set of eyes that most linebackers coaches wouldn't be able to bring.
Right. Matt?
Well, the whole searching for a DC has finally ended. The whole Jim Knowles debacle is obviously now far behind us. And we figured that they were going to try to go for someone, if not Jim Knowles, going the older, more experienced, probably the hottest name after leading Ohio State to a national championship and the pinnacle of college football, to go out and get a big name. And OU fans were wondering who that was going to be after Jim Knowles decided to go back home to Penn State, now hiring two guys, and Dreiling, who ended up starting as a graduate assistant at Kansas, then became a coach at Pitt State, Oregon, Southeast Missouri State, New Mexico State, and Utah State, and obviously his short tenure at Arkansas State. So he's been quite on a journey, but this is what I I think OU fans figured they wanted to get was an up and coming defensive mind, similar to what we had in Zach Alley. It's almost a copy and paste. I feel like, from my perspective, of the hire himself. So I think it's a good addition, and I know Butch Jones, the Arkansas State head coach, had some pretty good remarks for him. Say he's a highly respected defensive mind in college football. So adding that guy to the staff is never a bad addition, along with Wes Goodwin, which I know we'll talk here in just a moment.
So we, as a podcast, if you recall, a year or 2 years ago, I think, when talking about Brent Venables and his development as a head coach, I think we all were kind of the opinion that Brent needed to step away a little away from the defensive play calling and more so focus on being a head coach. And now he's shifting back, I feel like, to, I mean, obviously he's going to be calling defensive plays, going to be a defensive coordinator, essentially.
Yeah, we haven't
as well
heard that yet, but he's doing that. He's calling the plays. Yeah.
Yeah, he's calling the plays.
You're listening to this. You're not finding that out right now.
Yeah. So what do we think about that move back? I mean, there's no other move to make. I feel like it's the only move to be made. But do we feel confident in his ability? Because a couple years ago, we were saying, hey, he needs to focus on being a head coach and not a defensive coordinator. And now he's reverting back to that. How do we feel?
I think Gabe and Teddy made, or maybe just one of them, whoever it was, made the best point on this week, which is that when that was happening, Jeff Levy was calling plays from up top. Mm-hmm. Ben Arbuckle is going to be calling plays from down on the field. The offense is always going to be coached on the field by their leader. Brent Venables doesn't have to worry as much about what's going on between up there to the quarterback down here, with Matt Wells serving as your sort of interim OC mid-game, kind of. Look, it's not ideal, right? None of this is totally ideal. But if you're not going to get Jim Knowles, and that was where the chips were pushed in on, then who's better at calling plays, Brent Venables or Wes Goodwin? Who's better at calling plays, Brent Venables or Nate Dreiling? You only get one more shot at this if you're Brent Venables. And that guy loves Oklahoma more than everyone in the world combined. So I think he's going to put it all on his shoulders and ride it out. I like his play calling. So
yeah,
see.
It's what made him such a important DC, obviously, in all those years at Clemson. You know, seeing him on the sideline, having to have a backup guy. I hope we have a backup guy, because that's the kind of energy we need at a BV, I think, is someone who's going to light it up and get out there and bring the energy, which he's tried to be this calm, cool, collected head coach, and that just hasn't worked. We've seen it. So I'm glad he's making this shift, and he had a really powerful quote, I think, after some of the hires. He said, I've reflected on all facets of the program over the past few weeks. Since I was hired as a head coach, we have carefully assembled a defensive personnel and scheme that is suited to compete at the highest level, and we've built a deep and talented roster ready for the moment. I have high expectations for our program. We'll do everything in my power to achieve our goals for our players. To that end, I will take over defensive play calling responsibilities for the 2025 season. He knows it. Mark just said it. Going into the fourth year, being in the scheme, not having the results that this program is used to and accustomed to, and the expectation to live up to each and every year, this was the only move left to make. And it is such a pivotal year for this program and obviously his coaching tenure. This is what had to be done, and I'm excited about it. Again, I hope he brings that same energy that he did at Clemson, because I think that's what they need to continue to get this team over the hump.
Yeah, I agree. And Mark made the point about Jeff Levy being up in the box. And that's why you go spend all that money on Arbuckle, right? You go get Arbuckle to kind of run the offense and run the show. So now you can afford to be a little more invested in the defensive side of the ball. You're paying a guy like Ben Arbuckle, who, let's not get it twisted, he's a very good offensive mind. That dude's got head coaching aspirations. He's going to be showing what he can do. and why his next job should be a head coaching job. So he's going to be kind of in a quote unquote tryout era as well, as was Jeff Lebby when Jeff Lebby was hired. So he's going to have to take the wheels of the offense and show like, this is my show. That giving Brent a little more opportunity to just focus on the defense. I think that's a good hire and move by Brent. I'm curious to see how it all pans out because, of course, one of the main problems that we had with Brent was his inability to like call functional timeouts.
Yeah, just game management.
Game management is crazy.
To that end, both of the guys that we just hired have called a defense, have been the head guy on a defense. Dreiling has at least a year, whatever, of experience with it. And so I do think you're going to see him lean on those guys for a lot of the work that goes into the week. And then he's going to be the one kind of at the helm when it comes to Saturdays. That's how I envision this happening. I hope.
I agree.
I hope. And then when the whole defense is on the sideline, you could still be looking at at the field, calling while the offense is cooking because you trust these guys to pick up the slack behind you.
Right. Matt, anything to add before we move on?
I like the addition of Wes Goodwin as well. Just having experience of dealing with BV back at Clemson and obviously going on the winning that they did there. So I think this is a good addition to bring him in. Knows the defense, knows what BV wants to run. Again, I think to your guys' point, will just allow BV to focus on the play calling and let these other guys fill in and help with the game management and every other facet of the game. Let BV focus on what he's the best at. Calling plays, making shifts, all of that. That's what we want to see.
Well, and all of just real fast, all of Wes Goodwin's Clemson defenses would have won the 20 teens OU offenses a national championship. So let's not get it twisted that like he got fired from Clemson because he's terrible. They had down years the same way teams do, and someone's head's got to fall. So hopefully he's a good addition for the Oklahoma coaching staff.
I hope so as well. Jaron Kanak changes his jersey number.
Ooh, baby.
Or I guess teases it.
Yeah.
Do we know it yet?
We know that Sammy Omasigo is wearing 7.
Right.
That means Jaron Kanak can't be wearing 7.
No.
Because Sammy's definitely going to be playing defense. I think I saw something with him wearing 12, but it hasn't been announced, and it's not him actually wearing it. It was the meme of the Christian Bale Batman looking up at Batman, and Batman was wearing the jersey. But so he's playing some offense, right?
Yeah.
That feels
I mean he's got to be. He's got to be. I don't know where. I mean, the obvious thing is, a quasi running back / tight end and H-back would be the main idea behind it, but we obviously won't know, and I guarantee you we won't know until this summer that they confirm it, like in August.
Because I bet we cancel the spring game like everyone else is going to do.
Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, yeah.
I'm super excited for it. Go watch Jaron Kanak highlights from high school. And
dude, yeah.
Like, I understand why he ended up at linebacker, why he was recruited as a linebacker, but he's a lot better if he's able to go downhill and not worry about strafing or getting to a zone. And I'm just excited to see, I don't know what his hands are like, but if you put the ball in them, I'm confident he's going to take some heads.
Yeah. Completely agree. I think that's a dude who's built, and he's fast, man. He's fast.
He is a freak athlete.
Yeah,
there is a reason that he started at Cheetah, and we were all excited about him at Cheetah. Now, he can't move like a cheetah, but he is a freak.
Yeah. If you put the ball in his hands, just show me a couple of times what he looks like with the ball in his hands. That's all I need to know. If he looks functional and looks athletic enough, like I know he's going to look, that to me, that dude should be on the field catching passes out of the backfield. Why not? Why not?
Who the hell you got else? A bunch of transfers, and we're all
Yeah,
going to be high on whoever comes out of that room. But I'm confident that guy's the best athlete in the room, unless
right,
Devon Mitchell somehow just truly erupts in year two.
right. Matt?
I think I saw on Twitter, I forgot who or X, one of the OU guys saw a number of players changing their jersey. I think like Mike Hawkins, Omosigo, some of those
Mm-hmm.
other
Darren
guys.
wasn't
So
listed.
yeah, so it'll be interesting what to keep up, see the new roster. Look, OU's got to utilize the talent that they have, and obviously JK's 7, now JK, whatever it's going to be, just hasn't lived up to being able to play linebacker as we thought he could. I mean, you just prime example of what happened in the bowl game. He totally misses the gap, and the guy runs for 90 plus yards. So just some of those
Yeah.
things. But if we can utilize him and his speed and talent somewhere else, I'm more than happy to see what he's got in the offensive backfield because obviously the offense, what was last year, can only go up from here. Fingers crossed.
Hard to be worse.
I love that
Impossible to be
point.
worse.
That's talent and athleticism that should be put on the field somehow.
If he doesn't know how to read a gap on the defensive side, maybe he knows how to read a gap with the ball in his hands
Yeah.
and knows how to cut back. Maybe he does.
And if he runs in the wrong hole, he's going to do it really hard. And
Yeah.
it works on this side of the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Let us know down below in the comments your thoughts
Let
on
us know.
Jaron Kanak changing his number. And if he's on the offensive side of the ball, what position do you think he could play? And where would you put him? How often would you give him the ball? We read every single one of your comments. Thank you for that. Also, your thoughts on Dreiling as well as the linebackers coach as well as Wes Goodwin. We read all those comments. All right, Matt, you want to circle the wagons, brother?
Circle the wagons. Yeah, some quick updates for basketball and gymnastics. I'll start with OU women's basketball, who continue SEC conference play, losing back-to-back games to number 6 LSU, 107-100. If you guys saw any highlights of that game, that was very physical. 2 players got ejected, and I think they had like a season high in total fouls and free throws attempted. So not a great game overall, but number 6 LSU is fairly good. But they did lose back-to-back games. Number 11 Kentucky 95-86, and it's funny that in back-to-back games, OU women gave up a career high to LSU player Michaela Williams, who had 37 points and 7 threes. And then they played Kentucky and gave up a career high 37 points to Kentucky's Georgia Amore, who also had 7 threes. Not going to win very many games when you are giving up that many points to one single player. Jenny B is going to have to figure out how this team can defend players who get hot, but also contain the 3-point line. Just can't happen in these big SEC games. So the girls are falling off a little bit. They're 4-5 in conference play. Again, very similar to the men's side where SEC is really just a gauntlet and it's not going to get any easier. They will play unranked Ole Miss and Auburn. So definitely some big games coming up for women's basketball. Shifting over to the men's side, not getting any better. They did get a pretty good win, beating number 24 Vandy at home, 97-67. I think that was the largest loss Vandy has had in the road in quite some time. But then they went on the road to play number 1 Auburn, and number 1 Auburn showed exactly why they are the number 1 team in the nation currently, beating OU 98-70. Wasn't much of a game at really from the tip. But freshman Dayton Forsyth from OU did lead the team with 13 points, even though he was 11-11 from the free throw line and 1 from 8 from the field. But he did play 22 minutes, and he was really getting to the hoop quite a bit, obviously, hence the free throw attempts. So I think the expectation for him is to continue to get minutes, and why would you? He was looked like the best player on the floor for the majority of the time. But Auburn had 11 blocks to us, our 0, had 19 assists to our 9. So the ball was just not moving. The offense looked pretty stagnant, and that's really been the story all year long. But that does not get any easier for OU's men's basketball, as they're going to have to play number 4 Tennessee and number 15 Missouri up next. And again, they're getting really close to being on the bubble and potentially seeing themselves out of the tournament unless they can get some big wins down the stretch. So we will have to see. Men's gym improves to 6-1. They beat Ohio State over this last weekend, 322 to 316. They'll play Stanford the following week. OU's gym continues to reign number one at 9-0. Recently beat Arkansas 197 to 195. They will play Kentucky before a rematch of LSU on Valentine's Day. So that is a quick Circle the Wagons update. Thanks for coming along.
Amazing. Thank you, my brother. Okay, Super Bowl time. The Super Bowl is on Sunday. Kansas City Chiefs. Philadelphia Eagles. Mark, you got a line in front of you?
Last I checked, it was 1.5, but I have seen one floating around in favor of the Chiefs. I'll bring something up right now.
So the Chiefs are favored. They are trying to become the first team in the NFL to ever win 3 straight Super Bowls. It would be amazing. One is the line.
Yes.
Chiefs favored. Just open it up first. Who do you like? Number one. Who do you like?
The Chiefs. They're gonna look mid for 3 quarters and then mid for 10 minutes. And then they're gonna play the best football you've ever seen. And they're not gonna make a mistake. And Spagnuolo is going to call a blitz at a perfect time. And it's going to get Jalen, and we're all going to be sad that they got Jalen, but that the defense is probably even better than the offense for the Chiefs. And the offense has proven an ability to get the ball down the field when it needs to really all year long, even though it looks really gross. So give me the Chiefs.
It's got to be infuriating to be an Eagles fan like this and arguably have, like, on paper the best football team, and they've played like the best football team.
Best roster.
And yes, best roster. And then you get there, a record-breaking running back, and you get to the final game and you got to play that MF for Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be infuriating.
It's
just like, no, we shouldn't be playing anybody. We should be playing bums because we're the best team. And it's obvious. And I think the Eagles are the best team. I think they're better than the Chiefs. I do. I don't think they're going to win, though. I don't.
That's the thing.
I just don't, man. I think your analysis was right on. The Chiefs are going to play bad for 3 quarters. They're going to be down by like 10, and you're going to be like, all right, they're done. And then
let's check the live line. They're favored. What the hell?
Yeah, dude. It's stuff like that. Go ahead, Matt.
My thoughts coming into this game is obviously completely different from the rematch a few years ago. Obviously, Philadelphia has improved their roster tremendously on both sides of the ball. Probably have the better. I would say Kansas City probably got slightly edge on the defensive side. But Eagles have a much better defense, and their defensive lines also is just monstrous. I think the biggest thing is, can the Chiefs slow down Saquon, who obviously nobody has been able to do yet in the playoffs? Is Jalen Hurts still a little bit banged up? We haven't really seen him run the ball that much. But also, the biggest drop off from Jalen last year versus this year is now he's ranked in like the bottom half when there's pressure in his face and when he's blitzed. And that's exactly what defensive coordinator Spag is really good at doing. He doesn't do it all the time, but he times it up perfectly. So can Jalen beat the pressure? But he hasn't done that all year, even though he's got A.J. Brown, he's got Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and Saquon Barkley, and probably the best offensive line. I think that's really going to be the tilt of the game is, can Saquon get going, and can Jalen Hurts beats pressure and the blitz? That will be, I think, the deciding factor in this game.
Yeah, the Jalen Hurts health thing is the really big question mark. Go ahead, Mark.
And the Jalen Carter health thing, because he's been limited in practice too. Devontae Smith was today.
God, I didn't even hear about Devontae Smith. Oh no. Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing: you're going to get a steady diet of Saquon Barkley, right? You're going to see Saquon get a lot of carries, and I guarantee you, whatever his prop is on total rushing yards, I'm probably taking the over. I probably am because I just think he's going to get fed. I really do. And yeah,
That
there's going to
number
be
is 114 and a half.
Wow.
I think that's high, but I think I'd still take
That
it.
does seem-
I thought like 120 sounded like a safe number for me for him to like get to.
Then
yeah.
you're comfortably there, you know.
Yeah.
His
but-
longest rush prop is 24 and a half. That's a fun one.
Ooh, that is a
All he's
fun.
got to do is break it from far, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
In theory.
But see, the interesting thing to me about the Chiefs and this dynasty, like you look when they beat the Eagles the first time, like Travis Kelce's in his prime. Pat Mahomes he's still in his prime. Pat's still in his prime, but like he's coming of age at that point, and you know that's really his moment to shine. You look at him now. Pat is still Pat Mahomes. Kelsey's fading. Like he's still a good football player, but he's not that guy they were when they played the first time. And if you think he is, then you just didn't watch the Chiefs this year. Like he's still a very good football player, but he's not the Travis Kelce he was. All that to say, man, to Mark's point, you're going to get to the fourth quarter and Travis Kelce's going to catch like 2 massive first downs. And he's going to be wide open. And then he's going to run a 5.2 40 and he's going to look slow as hell.
But he's going to get 15 yards.
And he's going to get 15 yards. That's what's going to happen. And all this to say, you give Travis Kelce, you give the Chiefs defense credit, you give Pat Mahomes all the credit in the world. Andy Reid is a freaking genius. He's a freaking genius, man. He really is. And you're telling me in a head coach matchup, do you want Nick Sirianni, no offense, or Andy Reid? I'm taking Andy Reid every single time. Even though he's got Vic Fangio as his defensive coordinator. And Vic's had a very good season as their defensive coordinator.
His defense is great.
Yeah. I think Andy Reid trumps all of that. I just do. Because as the years change, one thing stays the same. It does not matter. Andy Reid knows how to call a freaking offense. It does not matter what defense you throw at him. He knows how to call it. And Pat knows how to run it. It's greatness, and all you can do is shrug your head at it. And it's different for me being like a Dolphins fan and seeing the Patriots. I hated the Patriots dynasty because they were beating me every year. And they pissed me off. And I was like, I hate Tom Brady. Oh, he's overrated. Like, and no, he's not. I know he's not. But that's how I coped. And now I see it with Pat Mahomes. And it's just like, yeah, this is what it was. This is kind of what the Patriots was.
Yeah.
What were you smiling at?
I just, you're right there on like the self-realization about coping with a star AFC East quarterback.
No, Josh Allen's ass.
But just not seeing it.
Josh Allen's a good football player. He's just not good enough to win a Super Bowl.
That's
and he's not better.
World, I'm not sure I'd ever take him over Mahomes,
And he's not better than Joe Burrow. That's where I'm at.
I'm not
That's
there.
where I'm at.
But this isn't the Josh Allen, Joe Burrow.
He's not better than Lamar Jackson. No. So there you go. So
no
that's where I'm at. Lamar's great. Lamar's so great. But yeah, go ahead, Matt. I feel like I jumped in when you were about to go.
No, I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup. Again, it's going to be vastly different than it was a few years back, and it just seems inevitable that the Chiefs are going to win again. They usually get a pretty number of good calls that go their way, and
I just don't buy that.
That's been happening all playoffs. Just watch the tape. I'm not sure who the referee is for this game in particular.
It's not Cleet Blakeman. It's the guy with the glasses, the black guy with the glasses. I can't remember his name, and I feel like I'm doing him a disservice now by not knowing his name. But yeah,
I don't know the names.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be a fun game, man. I think that one just shows you that -1 for the Chiefs shows you, number one, how close it is and how close everybody thinks it's going to be. And number two, that nobody's really throwing money one way or the other. It's just kind of like there. especially if you were right, Mark, and it was 1.5 when you looked at it, originally, and now it's 1. It's
I
barely
know
moved.
because I've lost half a point of value that it was at 1.1 1/2.
Yeah.
Man, I'm aware of these
Oh,
things.
where?
And the interesting thing too is like -1.5 on one end to -1.5 on the other end doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a 3-point swing.
Mm.
Yeah.
The difference between one and the other side one, like it's 2, but it's really just 1, kind of, right? Don't be shocked if you see late money come in that moves this one way or the other. Like it could go back to 1.5, end up at 2 if Chiefs money just flies in. Could be the flip side. You see a Eagles by 1 at the time we get to kick. Because everything we say is right and like the Eagles are better and it just won't matter.
Mark, quick question. Is there any fun prop bets that you're looking at for the Super Bowl? Because I know that's what the Super Bowl is all about. Is some fun prop bets.
Not so much for me. I
Nothing tickling your fancy.
well, the real thing is there isn't
Got to
so
find
much
value.
available unless you live in a state like Vegas, Louisiana, some of these other states. I get some good regular props for this, but I'm not getting like
The fun stuff.
yeah, like
Yeah.
over under Eagles points versus like Jason Tatum points that night, right? Like I don't, that's
That's kind of fun.
stuff like that.
That's kind of fun.
If you go like real offshore, my bookie or Bovada or something, you can find stuff like that. I just don't like dealing with
Sure.
all of
I
that.
feel that.
All that. Yeah, for sure. I get that. I get that. man.
Oh yeah. So final score predictions, Mason. What do you got?
Oof. Man. I'm gonna go 27-24 Chiefs.
Mm.
I
Mm.
I want to go I want to go weirder than that. Like
Super Bowls always have
like a
weird
third
score.
like a 32-29 feels like the weirdness I want. Like something like that. Like I think a late kick, like a Harrison Butker late field goal does it. I don't think it's like a late Mahomes touchdown. I really do think it probably ends on a kick, not as time expires, but that's what it is. But yeah, I just feel like it's a weird score. It like I don't know. I'll change it, Matt. I'll say it 20 or 32-29 Kansas City. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's going to be scoring.
Yeah, I think there's going to be points in this game.
I'll probably land on the other end of that then. I'm going to go 24-20. Kansas City Chiefs.
What's
Okay.
the over under 48? I think as I saw.
Let me
So you're choosing the under
48
on
and a
that?
half. So I'd be going under on
You're
that.
under.
Yeah.
You're under.
Interesting. I'm gonna go 30-27 Eagles. I think the Eagles have a slight edge offensively. And I think Saquon's gonna have a big game. I think that will put him over the top. Maybe take a little pressure off Jalen. I'm gonna go the Eagles in this one because I really don't want to see Kansas City win another one. Unfortunately,
Look,
love
I think
history. I get it. I don't want to see it.
to your point, Matt, I think a Saquon Barkley big game, like over like 130 or 140 yards for Saquon Barkley, I think that's an Eagles win. I think they win that game because that means that's a steady diet to Saquon. You controlled the clock. You kept Mahomes off the field. I think that would do it. I would. Go ahead, Mark.
I agree.
If the Eagles are in a position to get Saquon that many yards, that tells me that something's gone wrong for the Chiefs.
Right.
That Pat threw an interception or Kelsey fumbled the ball at some point. Pat fumbled the ball at some point. Something like that, that then the Eagles are going to be able to rack up more time of possession with more opportunities. And that's sort of how I envision Saquon getting to that many yards. I think the Chiefs are going to play to stop Saquon and Jalen running the ball and force him to drop back. Force him to drop back and send guys when he does. That seems like the more sound game plan to me.
Completely agree. Let us know down below in the comments. Your thoughts on the game? Who's going to win? What's the score going to be? Who's your MVP? Let us know.
What would just real fast? So if the Chiefs win, I'm just gonna say Mahomes gets it, right? That's minus 120.
Right.
That's the same odds as the Chiefs winning outright. If the Eagles win, you could get Barkley plus 210, Hurts plus 300, or AJ Brown plus 2300, all the way down to Devontae Smith plus 4600. What of that sounds interesting to you guys?
I mean, value wise, probably Jalen.
Plus
Yeah.
300.
Yeah, because I think AJ is going to get covered by the number one corner.
I think he is,
Devontae
yeah.
definitely could be like a sneaky one, but obviously Jalen, I think, is going to have a big game in order. Like with the combination of Saquon, because obviously Kansas City has a really good run defense. If he can't get going, then it's going to be on the shoulders of Jalen. If he can power over the top, then
I mean, I think the Chiefs are going to make Jalen beat them. I think that's their key to victory. So yeah,
I
that's
think
where I'm at.
Jalen's got to get like 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 passing touchdowns to win MVP over what Saquon Barkley is probably going to bring to the table. One thing that I want to point out, Jalen Carter at plus 4,600 has the same odds as Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert at 4,600. That's crazy.
Wow, that's
I like Jalen Carter a lot. That's crazy. Chris Jones is only plus 6,100. So
the Georgia Sheriff's Department doesn't.
actually, they didn't have much of a problem with him.
That's fair.
Hey,
You're not wrong.
things were fine.
All right. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, PGP MVP of the week time. You guys want to go ahead and give me your MVP of the week? Matt, start with you.
did we talk about Patty Gasso on the last pod?
Yes,
I think we did. Okay.
we did.
I'm going to go, I believe this will
Not getting the USA
Not
job.
the Team
Not
USA.
the,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Do
not the
that.
USA
Yeah.
job. Yeah.
Then I will, because I think it was Patrick last week who I think mentioned Patty. Oh, it's because they're going on the road playing mid-major schools.
Right.
Okay, yeah,
And
that's ringing a bell.
Wildfire
Yeah.
relief.
So I have to talk
It was
about
Mark,
Patty
actually.
again because she is obviously an incredible coach, incredible woman, but she did get announced to be the 2028 U.S. softball head coach to be able to lead those girls to potentially a gold medal is such an honor. She came out with this quote today or a couple of days ago, sorry. Dream come true to be asked to be the coach to Team USA. This is the highest honor, and I'm humbled by and thankful for the confidence USA softball has in me. I have an intense passion to make the Team USA the best it can be to help them win gold in 2028. Who else would you go with?
No one.
And how
Patty.
and how cool she gets to coach an alumni game like that.
Dude, for real. You know what's also awesome is the SEC media picked OU to finish like third.
Third.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Feed it to me.
This isn't men's sports.
Dog.
SEC. This
Dog.
is not men's sports.
Feed it to me.
We stack up.
Brother, I can't wait. Oh my God, I can't wait. I hope they run rule just everyone. Ooh, that would be so much fun. I love that. Okay. My MVP is going to be Jason Tatum in the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum, 27 points, 35 points, and then 22 points in his last 3 games. He beat, or not he, the Celtics beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 112 to 105. The fun win, a 118-110 win, 26-point comeback against the Philadelphia 76ers 2 nights before that. And then they beat New Orleans by 2 on a Jason Tatum walk-off 3 at the buzzer. So just a really good run for Tatum and this Celtics team. And shout out to the Cavs, a fraudulent team. I think I saw a stat. They're like 1-6 or 2-6 against this combined against the Celtics, Thunder, and somebody else at the top of the West. I'm failing, but all that to say, might have been the Houston Rockets. I don't know, but the Cavs just a fraudulent number 1 seed. Just a fraudulent number 1 seed. Thunder are real. Cavs are not.
I'm going to round us out here, and this is episode 161. I
Gross.
want this LVP to come with the strength and passion of all 161 episodes to
Must
this
be a
point.
big one. Mm.
Oh.
The Dallas Mavericks
Oh, baby.
Let's talk about it.
with the
Oh.
LVP of the millennia
Yep.
in the NBA to this point, trading Luka Doncic, someone else,
Max Kleba,
Max Kleba, and a
Markieff Morris.
pick, and Markieff Morris, and a second round pick, but still a
A
pick
pick.
for Anthony Davis and Max Christie, right? Anthony Davis is 32. Luka Doncic is 25. That's 7 years. Luka Doncic will be Anthony Davis's age in 2032. That's how many extra years he's got ahead of him than Anthony Davis does. The other guy that the Mavericks lean on is Kyrie Irving. He's the only one who can dribble now. He's the only one who knows how to dribble.
Yeah.
This team is not built to compete. It's not built to sustain winning. And they just traded away the greatest thing they've had since Dirk brought the championship to Dallas.
I don't get it.
It is nasty work because when they don't get the casino they want, they are going to move this franchise.
Yeah.
And this was a step in that direction. The reporting after the fact has been horrific for Nico Harrison, the general manager, and even ownership for checkmarking this.
How do you do?
I don't
How do you
get it.
do it?
I don't get it. Apparently,
What's
apparently
the thinking?
Apparently, the governor, Patrick Dumont, laughed when Nico Harrison brought the idea up and said to go for it.
Yeah,
Now
and Nico
that's
said
the
that
word.
into a mic.
Yes.
Nico said it in a mic.
Yes. It's crazy.
What a
It
moron.
is the craziest thing. It's insane because he's like a highly successful exec in the Nike world before all of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes you realize, dude, idiots can get anywhere.
Yeah.
So can I.
Yeah.
It's uplifting, truly.
It is. It truly is.
It
You
is-
guys,
it is
you guys see the
inspiring.
report that Nico fumbled the bag with Steph Curry when he worked at Nike and
Yes.
called him Seth, and then Steph went to Under Armour like right after that. Yeah, he's fumbling the bag all over the place. And let's just think about a few years ago when Rudy Gobert got traded to Timberwolves. He got 4 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert, and Luka
Yes.
Doncic got 1, even though they did get AD, who's still probably a top 20 NBA player, sure, but he's aging out. I can't believe it. I was like, this has to be a joke. This has to be like April Fool's come early.
Unreal.
To trade a 5 first-team All NBA by the age of 25. I mean, sure, he might be a little overweight, but are we kidding? Are we
I
kidding
don't
ourselves?
get it.
Yeah, that's
He could be-
unreal.
He could be eating a Big Mac under the basket, and you pay him whatever he's asking for.
He's still
Yeah.
better than like 90% of the people
Yeah.
in the league.
Oh,
Yeah.
we wanted someone who could play defense better. Get all the way the hell out of there with that. Are you kidding me? It's Luka Doncic. He dragged your ass to the finals less than a year ago.
And gave you
Himself.
29, 9, and 6 in those finals.
Oh my God.
Who else was giving you 29 points?
No one. I don't get it. Is it because you don't want to pay him a supermax?
I think
Who
that-
else are you
yeah.
going to pay?
Well,
That's definitely part of it.
You're not going to pay anybody else.
right.
Though that's my thing. You're only going to pay him. Why does it matter?
But they're gonna have to change that rule because that's dirty, man. That he's now not eligible for an extra 115 plus mil.
Well,
That
it's
sucks.
not supposed to apply to guys like Luca.
Yeah.
Right? It's supposed to be like incentivize you to stay with the team that you're drafted to. Because if you're that good, you can go get mad money anywhere. And the Mavericks just fumbled the bag. In
This is
maybe
bad.
my whole life, I haven't seen a sports team make a decision this bad.
No, it's horrendous.
Just management wise. Like people do dumb shit. The Saints were advising the Pope that, or like, what the hell is going on with the Catholic Church and the New Orleans Saints. But like, there's crazy stuff. Player management, game management. This is the craziest shit I've ever seen.
Nuts.
I truly don't understand it.
Mark
I don't think anyone's ever going to do. And the fact that he got in front of a microphone and just like answered questions like, "Oh, gee shucks. Well, we had to make this move." And he's like, "Oh yeah, Jason Kidd didn't know about it." Like, what a freaking asshole. What an
one guy
asshole.
on the Mavericks talking to everyone at the Lakers and not realizing he's getting cooked.
Dude, wasn't it the Jazz? Like, Danny Ainge didn't even know they were part of a trade until it happened.
Yeah. Well, they knew it was a trade. They thought they were like a small piece of a small trade because their stuff was just like cap and pick movement.
Yeah.
Danny Ainge helping the Lakers get the next best player in the league is kind of funny, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and Rob Pelinka. I don't know how he got this to happen. I just credit to him.
He shouldn't be good at this job.
No,
He just shouldn't.
no.
But it's working.
Man. And hey, shout out, good for LeBron. I mean, they're going to be a good basketball team.
I'm very interested to see how that plays out. As you know,
they need a center.
You couldn't build around Anthony Davis as like a face the way you can LeBron. Well, you can build around Luka. Yeah. And so how long are you going to play like us and LeBron are partners in this,
right?
Before it becomes us and Luka are partners in this. And that's, that guy's getting ornery.
Yeah.
So that's the piece on the Lakers side I'm interested to see. Because at this point, you have to let Luka win out.
Jeez. Another franchise ruined by the Boston Celtics. Shout out.
That's right.
We ruined them. Maybe. All right. That's gonna do it. Episode 161 is in the books. Be sure to like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Find us on all of our social media at Program Guys with a Z. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. That's where you can find us. We will see you next week. Matt, take us out.
Keep pushing it, baby.
3, 2, 1.
There's not one guy, one person in the history of this program that's bigger than the program.
What's better than this? Guys